Alright gamers, let's get right into it. So in today's episode, we're going to end up doing a little bit of terraforming around my town, and I had a couple ideas set in plan. I wanted to do a garden, some pathways, a little area to get down to the sugarcane farm, a small fishing dock, and possibly even a small house. While I was terraforming, I ended up cooking up some stone just because I wanted to use it for part of this build, and I also needed some deep slate, but I already had some of that, so I finished off the cliff edge here and jumped down into the water because I needed some water for my next build, a farm. So I did a basic layout, the 9 size square, 4 on each side. This will allow maximum efficiency. And then I just simply rinse and repeat the same process over and over a couple times. I did end up running into a zombie, so I made sure to take him out. Thankfully it wasn't a baby zombie, so I decided to do my pathways next. I was going to do a polished deep slate and a stone combo to make this kinda checkered pattern. I made sure to bring it all the way around the farm and wrap it around each individual farm. I planted some seeds, and then I wanted to make an easier pathway to get down to the water, so I decided to start mining all the dirt, all the stone, and eventually it got to the point where I wanted to jump in from the other side and dig in behind the sugar cane. So I did, and then eventually I did end up busting open into the area that I ended up mining, which was pretty awesome because it didn't take very long at all. It took maybe 5 minutes to finish that off. Not that there's anything really awesome about a hole in the ground, but hey, whatever. Maybe we'll turn it into something awesome. But anyways, I ended up going up and making one more farm, and then I ran out of cobbled deep slate, so I needed to make sure to go and get that. While I was mining that, I ran into an enderman, took him out, and then got back up to the surface. Finished off my pathways, and I heard a phantom, and it honestly scared the poop out of me. So I went running to my daddy villager and stole his bed because I was not having it. In the morning I ended up going and finishing up the pathways. There was only a little bit more to take care of. I also had a nice little conversation with the villager, but he really didn't have any good wares for trade. When, with that being said, there was an iron golem protecting my farms, and I am going to add some trapdoors around. Like, it acts almost like a fence, but I still have easy access. I think it will end up sprucing up the farms a little bit, and it'll help protect the crops with the villagers running in and just stomping around on them. I do plan on getting every plantable crop eventually. It is on the to-do list, so we will have a complete farm. Once I finished up the pathways, I wanted to actually finish my hole in the ground and give it a little bit more detail, added in some stairs and some cobblestone for the sides. This will just give it just a little bit of a better flavor and look while you're going down, and then you don't have to worry about banging your head off the ceiling and all that nonsense. So as I was finishing this little hole in the ground up, I decided that it might be a good idea to add in a dock. So I went and jumped down and checked out underneath. Underneath was looking pretty promising, but I wasn't too sure exactly what I wanted to do. So I just started off with making a basic outer layer of a wall that's gonna be completely walling us off from the ocean side of things. Eventually I'll be adding in a little bit more detail, like some cobblestone and, you know, rocks that are kind of protruding from the outside of the mountain. And after that, I did end up going out and adding a little trapdoor bridge going from sugarcane plot to sugarcane plot, and then I bounced right over to doing some pathways because I could not decide on how I wanted to do this dock. So it took me a while to think of an idea, so I figured adding a little bit of detail to the village would be pretty good. My pathway consisted of tough blocks, cobblestone, and deep slate. There's a couple variations in there, so just be mindful. That's for anybody that might be following along with my patterns. I was thinking about doing maybe a small guided build or something. I'm not too sure yet. Now, while I was doing my pathways, I was really trying to figure out an idea for the docks, and I really just couldn't come up with anything good. Eventually, I got to the point where I came up with this design, and I am not all that proud of it. I feel like I can definitely do a lot better of a dock design than this. This is like the most basic white bit shit ever. So eventually I will be giving the dock an upgrade. I made sure to put some torches around in some areas that I missed, and then I wanted to get started on my next little house. So once again, I'm just going to build another small mushroom with the materials that I have. I would like to actually eventually get some mycelium and some other, mushroom products like the white and red blocks, but I currently don't have silk touch, which makes it a little complicated. So I end up using a little bit of birch. I stripped the logs and used some planks to give it a little bit of texture. I needed some bricks, so I went out and got some clay, cooked that down and made myself some bricks for this little furnace area, and then I needed some spruce fences, so that's what I went with in this. I went and placed oak at first by accident, and I took the spruce fences and brought them all the way around, and now it's starting to add just a little bit of details. I added some spruce to the top of those fences and some spruce stairs going all the way around. Now floating in from the top, we are going to start working on the roof. I used some trapdoors around the edges after I put down some slabs. That's going to give it a nice extended look to it, and then I ended up needing some crimson wart blocks, so I ended up going to the nether really quick, and then I came back. I planned on using the crimson wart for the roof because I didn't have access to any other red blocks at the time. I ended up going with a very basic design. It's really so simple. It's a mushroom, so it's not very complicated. It's just a rounded roof. I went and made sure to add in some quart blocks around the edges to give it that little mushroom look to it. Makes it look like a fly Anita, and that would be the end of my build. I don't think it turned out too bad for being a really simple build. The interior I kept real basic. I added a furnace and a bed, I think. Like, I really didn't even finish the interior. I threw down some oak planks for the floor, but that's about it. I know this is a bit of a shorter episode, but I'm Blade Seed Studios. Thanks for watching, and I'm out.